The Hilton Grand Service entrance smelled like industrial cleaner and years of family disappointment. My sister Vanessa blocked the main entrance in her sequined gown, arms crossed. Absolutely not, Olivia. Use the back. I'm Olivia Chin, 35, standing outside the annual Children's Health Foundation Gala in a simple black dress while my family determined where I was allowed to enter. For the past decade, I'd built a software company from my apartment into a tech firm worth $2 billion. Last month we'd gone public. My family had no idea. The service entrance is for people like you, Vanessa continued, her voice dripping with practiced superiority. This gala is for major donors and society figures. You'd be uncomfortable with the real attendees. I have an invitation. You bought a table, she corrected. $5,000. That's cute. But Mom and Dad's table cost $50,000. The Harrington family donated $200,000. You don't belong in the same room with them. My mother appeared in the doorway, resplendent in Chanel. Vanessa's right, dear. It's better this way. You work in computers or something. These people are CEOs, philanthropists, old money families. They won't understand your startup life. Mom, my company just... Whatever it is, it doesn't matter tonight. She glanced nervously at the arriving luxury cars. Your father is being honored on the foundation board. Your brother Michael is bringing Senator Whitmore. This is important for the Chin family reputation. And I'd damage that reputation? You live in a condo and drive a Tesla, my sister said as if that explained everything. The parking attendants will think you're with catering. Just use the back entrance, slip in quietly and sit at your little table in the back. Michael, my younger brother, appeared in his tuxedo. At 29, he'd married into the Whitmore political dynasty and never let anyone forget it. Is there a problem? Olivia wants to use the main entrance, Mom said. He looked me up and down. Liv, come on. You know how this works. The main entrance is for photographs, press, major donors. You're at table 52, right? That's practically by the kitchen. Just go around back. What my family didn't know, what they'd never bothered to ask about, was that 3 months ago the Children's Health Foundation had approached me about a major gift. Their pediatric cancer research program needed funding. $20 million to complete a 5-year study that could revolutionize childhood leukemia treatment. I'd written the check that afternoon. The foundation director, Dr. Rebecca Hall, had called me personally to confirm. Ms. Chin, this is the largest single donation in our foundation's 40-year history. We'd like to recognize you at the gala. Would you be comfortable with that? I'd prefer to remain anonymous if possible. We can keep your name private until the reveal moment during the donor recognition portion of the program. But Ms. Chin, a gift of this magnitude, the board insists on proper acknowledgement. I'd agreed, not thinking about the fact that my family would be in attendance. They'd never connected my work with actual success. To them, I was the daughter who'd dropped out of business school to play with computers. Now I stood at the service entrance like they'd demanded, watching valets park Bentleys and Rolls-Royces while my family greeted arriving guests at the main entrance. Fine, I said quietly. I'll use the back. Vanessa looked relieved. Thank you. Just keep a low profile once you're inside, okay? I walked around to the service entrance, where catering staff hauled in equipment and florists made last-minute adjustments. A security guard checked my invitation with confusion. Ma'am, this is a VIP ticket. You should use the main entrance. Family preference, I said. He shrugged and let me through. Inside, the grand ballroom glittered with crystal chandeliers and ice sculptures. 800 guests in formal wear mingled around cocktail tables. I spotted my family immediately, holding court near the stage, laughing with the Harringtons and other society families. I found table 52. It was, as Michael had noted, practically in the kitchen. The 8 other seats were empty. I'd purchased the entire table thinking I'd invite colleagues from my company. But work had been intense and I'd forgotten to extend invitations. A server approached. Can I get you anything from the bar? Champagne, please. I sat alone watching the gala unfold. My father, Thomas Chin, worked the room in his custom tuxedo. He ran a mid-sized commercial real estate firm that had made the family comfortable but not wealthy. Not by the standards of this room anyway. My mother, Susan, clung to Patricia Harrington's side like a barnacle. The Harringtons were old money, pharmaceutical fortune, 10 generations deep. Their foundation donations were legendary. Vanessa, 32, had married Bradley Pierce, whose family owned a chain of luxury hotels. She'd never worked, spending her days at charity luncheons and yoga classes. Tonight she wore diamonds that cost more than my first office lease. Michael and his wife Amanda circulated near Senator Whitmore's table, networking aggressively. Through it all, no one looked toward table 52. No one noticed me sitting alone in the back. My phone buzzed. A text from Dr. Hall. "Miss Chin, are you here? We're about to start the program. I'd like you to sit at the foundation board table for the recognition portion." I texted back, "I'm here. Table 52. I'm fine where I am." Table 52? That's practically in the service area. Who arranged that? I purchased it myself. "Miss Chin, you're our keynote donor. You should be front and center. I'm sending someone to escort you to table 1. Please don't. I prefer to stay here. You can recognize me from here if needed." 3 dots appeared then disappeared. Finally, "As you wish. But this seems wrong." Dinner was served. I ate salmon and risotto alone while my family laughed at table 8 with the Harringtons and Whitmores. Servers kept giving me pitying looks. The woman sitting by herself at a table for 10, clearly not important enough to warrant company. After dessert, the program began. Foundation President Edward Morrison took the stage to discuss the year's achievements. Cancer survival rates improving. Research breakthroughs. New facilities opening. Then he paused. "Tonight we have something extraordinary to announce. The Children's Health Foundation has received the largest single donation in our 40-year history. This transformational gift will fund a complete 5-year pediatric leukemia research program, work that could save thousands of children's lives." The audience applauded politely, already reaching for their phones. This donor has chosen to remain anonymous until this moment. But a gift of this magnitude, $20 million, deserves proper recognition. The room went silent. $20 million. Even the Harringtons looked impressed. My mother's hand flew to her chest. My father leaned forward in his seat. "Please join me in thanking our visionary benefactor, Ms. Olivia Chin, founder and CEO of Nextech Solutions." Every head in the room turned, searching for the name they'd just heard. Edward gestured toward the back of the ballroom. "Miss Chin, would you please join us?" A spotlight found me at table 52. Alone. In the back. By the kitchen. I stood slowly, my legs trembling as 800 people stared. My mother's face had gone white. My father looked like he'd been struck. Vanessa's mouth hung open in a perfect O of shock. I walked through the tables toward the stage. The room remained silent except for the sound of my heels on marble. As I passed table 8, I heard Patricia Harrington whisper to my mother, "Susan, I didn't know your daughter was Olivia Chin. Nextech just went public at a $2 billion valuation." My mother couldn't respond. Dr. Rebecca Hall met me at the stage steps, embracing me warmly. "Thank you for being here despite the seating confusion." Edward handed me a crystal award. Ms. Chen's $20 million gift represents not just financial support but vision. She understands that investing in children's health research is investing in humanity's future. He turned to the audience. "What many of you may not know is that Olivia built Nextech from nothing. She started in her apartment 12 years ago with an idea and $5,000 in savings. Today her company employs 3,000 people and has revolutionized healthcare data management. Her software helps hospitals nationwide reduce costs and improve patient care." The audience applauded, but I could feel the undercurrent of whispers. People pulling out phones, Googling my name, reading about the IPO. "Miss Chin," Edward continued, "would you like to say a few words?" I hadn't planned to speak. But standing on that stage, looking out at my family's shocked faces, I found my voice. "Thank you. I'm honored to support the Foundation's cancer research. This cause is personal. When I was building Nextech, my best friend's daughter was diagnosed with leukemia. Watching that family fight for her life while navigating an overwhelming medical system showed me where my success could make a difference." I paused, looking directly at table 8. "I'm grateful to everyone here tonight who supports this foundation. But I especially want to acknowledge the families who can't afford a seat at galas like this. The parents working 3 jobs to pay for treatment. The children fighting for their lives in hospitals while donors sip champagne. My $20 million means nothing if we forget who we're actually here to help." The applause was thunderous. People stood. Patricia Harrington was on her feet immediately, clapping enthusiastically. Even Senator Whitmore stood. My family remained seated, frozen in place. After the presentation, I was surrounded. Donors wanting to discuss partnerships. Foundation board members thanking me. Journalists requesting interviews. Dr. Hall pulled me aside. Miss Chin, I'm so sorry about the seating situation. If I'd known your family. It's fine. It was actually enlightening. The board would like you to join us. We're restructuring our leadership council and your insight would be invaluable. I'd be honored. Patricia Harrington approached with my mother trailing behind her like a lost puppy. Miss Chin, I'm Patricia Harrington. The Harrington Foundation would love to discuss a partnership. Your approach to philanthropic impact is precisely what we've been trying to achieve. Mrs. Harrington, it's a pleasure. I understand you're Susan's daughter? She glanced at my mother with barely concealed disappointment. Susan, you never mentioned Olivia's extraordinary success. My mother's voice came out strangled. We didn't realize the scope of her company. Nextech is only the most talked about healthcare tech IPO of the decade, Patricia said coolly. How could you not realize? We thought she worked in computers, my father said weakly, joining us. She does work in computers, Patricia said. She built a $2 billion company. Surely you knew that. The silence was deafening. Vanessa appeared, mascara smudged. Olivia, I didn't know. $20 million? You donated $20 million. Yes. But you live in a condo. You drive a Tesla. We thought you were poor. I finished. I live in a condo because I'm rarely home. I'm usually at the office or traveling for business. The Tesla is practical. And I don't spend money on status symbols because I'd rather spend it on children's cancer research. Michael pushed through with Amanda. Liv, this is incredible. We should talk about investment opportunities. The Whitmore family has a venture fund. I'm not interested in being your investment opportunity, Michael. I'm interested in saving children's lives. Senator Whitmore himself approached. Miss Chin, your donation is remarkable. I'm sponsoring healthcare legislation that could use private sector insight. Would you consider testifying? Before I could answer, my mother grabbed my arm. Olivia, can we talk privately? I don't think so. Please. We made a mistake. If we'd known. You'd have what? Let me use the main entrance. I gently removed her hand. You made me use the service entrance because you were embarrassed by me. You seated me by the kitchen because you didn't want your society friends knowing I was your daughter. We didn't understand your success. You didn't bother to ask about my life. In 12 years, you never once visited my office, asked about my company, or showed interest in my work. You assumed because I didn't marry rich or join Dad's firm that I was a failure. My father stepped forward. The Harringtons want to meet with our family. About business opportunities. No. Olivia, this could be huge for Chin Properties. I'm not your business opportunity either, Dad. I'm your daughter. The one you made walk through the service entrance an hour ago. I picked up my clutch. Dr. Hall approached with 2 other foundation board members. Miss Chin, we're having a private reception upstairs for major donors. Would you join us? I'd love to. As I walked away, I heard my mother crying. My father trying to explain to the Harringtons. Vanessa on the phone, probably telling friends she'd always known about my success. The private reception was intimate. 50 people in a penthouse suite, including the foundation's top donors and medical researchers. Patricia Harrington cornered me immediately. Miss Chin, I want to apologize for your family's behavior. It was appalling. You don't need to apologize for them. No, but I want you to know that the rest of us see your value. The Harrington Foundation would be honored to co-fund your next charitable initiative, whatever it might be. We talked for an hour about pediatric health, research funding, and the intersection of technology and medicine. She introduced me to other major donors who'd been trying to reach me through official channels. My phone exploded with messages. Family members, family friends, distant relatives I hadn't heard from in years. All suddenly interested in my life. I blocked them all. The society pages the next morning were brutal. Gala embarrassment. Family forces $20 million donor to use service entrance, ran with side-by-side photos. me entering through the back then accepting the award on stage. The article detailed my family's treatment, the seating at table 52, and the shocked reactions when my donation was revealed. Several attendees had leaked quotes about my family's obvious ignorance and social climbing gone wrong. The business press was kinder. Nextech CEO Olivia Chen donates $20 million to children's cancer research, featured interviews with Dr. Hall about the impact of my gift. My family called 217 times over the next week. I answered none of them. A month later, the foundation announced that I joined their board of directors. Patricia Harrington and I co-chaired a new initiative funding pediatric research across 5 hospitals. My parents tried to attend the announcement press conference. Security had their names on a do not admit list. My request. 6 months into my board service, the leukemia research program I'd funded published breakthrough findings. The study made the cover of the New England Journal of Medicine. Survival rates for the most aggressive childhood leukemia had improved by 38%. Dr. Hall called me crying with joy. "Olivia, your money just saved hundreds of children's lives." That night I received an email from my mother. "We saw the news. We're so proud. Please forgive us." I deleted it without responding. A year later I made another donation, $30 million this time for pediatric brain cancer research. The foundation held another gala. My family wasn't invited. I sat at table 1 this time with Patricia Harrington and the other board members who'd become my chosen family. People who valued impact over appearances. Who measured worth in lives saved, not entrance doors used. As I accepted another award, I looked out at the ballroom and thought about that night a year ago. Standing in the service entrance while my family decided I wasn't sophisticated enough for the front door. They'd been wrong about which entrance I deserved. But they'd been right about one thing. I didn't belong at their table. I belonged at a table where $20 million meant children lived. Where success was measured in research breakthroughs, not real estate deals. Where family meant the people who fought beside you for causes that mattered, not the people who shared your DNA but couldn't see your worth. Table 52 had given me the perfect view of my family's values. And the stage had given 800 people the perfect view of mine. Some service entrances lead to the places you actually belong. Mine led to saving lives. And no main entrance in the world could compete with that.